This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.
Welcome to the Phuket News Hour. I'm Tim Shaw. A big week ahead in the news. The first story that Myanmar flooding has taken many lives. We'll bring you that story today. An extraordinary find of ivory at Suvarnabhumi Airport that was destined for Laos. And what is happening in the ASEAN region? The tragic news of the death over the weekend of Cilla Black, the great entertainer, a tribute to the one and only Cilla Black. All this and more here on the Phuket News Hour, proudly brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Stay tuned. Over the next hour, we'll make sure we bring you the news and the views locally, nationally, and from right around the world, using the resources of the Phuket News Centre, the BBC, CNN, Al Jazeera, and the World Wide Web. All the news you need to know here on the Phuket News Hour. Lots of news on the way.
The news you need to know. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
In news close to home, a state of emergency has been declared in several regions of Myanmar after the worst flooding in decades. Tens of thousands of homes have been destroyed, and the country's president has visited people living in temporary shelters, and the army is leading their relief efforts. Here's a report from Katarina Mo from the BBC.
The government's declared the 4 worst areas in the west as disaster zones. People have been left stranded in remote villages, their livelihoods ruined. It's thought 150,000 homes and fields have been destroyed. Severe flooding is hampering rescue efforts, and disrupted communications mean authorities are unable to confirm the death toll. The monsoon rains triggered a landslide in Chin State, destroying apartment buildings. Rakhine is one of the areas that has been declared a disaster zone. It already has 140,000 people living in camps near the region's capital. Thousands of people have taken refuge in monasteries, which have been turned into rescue camps. The United Nations has expressed serious concern over the flooding. Emergency teams have been sent to the worst-hit areas to assess the need for food, drinking water and shelter.
That report from Katarina Mo. And in additional news, we know that Angelina Jolie, the Oscar-winning actress and wife of Brad Pitt, has been visiting women in the garment industry in Myanmar, and Aung San Suu Kyi joined her on one of those factory visits. More news on the way. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Missed something? No problem. Listen to the Phuket News Hour any time of the day. Programs posted daily on the phuketnews.com/radio and on our Facebook page, Phuket Live Radio.
Looking to national news, the Customs Department of Thailand, their officers at Suvarnabhumi Airport recently intercepted huge stashes of ivory stuffed into shipments of beans and tea leaves. The seizures were described as groundbreaking international police work. Now, Europol, the international police agency, according to the Bangkok Post, said that the sting operation that led to the biggest ever coordinated international law enforcement operation targeting the illegal trade in endangered species. But the story in the Bangkok Post says that Laos overlooked in the ivory trade blitz. But there were major omissions in the program which took place over the past 4 months and uncovered more than 1,300 elephant tusks. There was no cooperation with and no arrests in the country to which the ivory was being shipped, Laos. In recent years, Laos has been a major transit point for a variety of exotic and endangered animals, and many countries across the world have enhanced their campaigns against wildlife trafficking syndicates that are draining Asia's jungles and the African savanna of elephants, rhinoceroses and other animals, many of them considered choice foods in parts of Asia. But Laos, run by its secretive and authoritarian communist government, stands out as a bastion of impunity, say those involved in the crackdown, and that report in the Bangkok Post. Further great police work reported by the Bangkok Post. The Khao Bin prison has been a major meth and gun bust location by the Royal Thai Police, and police found that one of the nation's biggest drug operations was being run from within the prison walls. Listen to this: more than 300,000 tablets of methamphetamine, 44 kilograms of crystal meth and 22 firearms, many of them war weapons, were seized from 2 suspects in a raid by 191 Special Operations Police last week. Now, the investigators were able to establish that the two suspects worked for a major drug trafficking network run from inside Khao Bin prison in Ratchaburi province. Now, the police colonel, chief of special operations, said that the arrests last week arose from sleuthing by a team of undercover agents who'd been on the trail of two traffickers for about a month. These suspects were nabbed while attempting to deliver drugs in an isolated soi between Bangkok's Talang Chan district and Nakhon Pathom's Buddha Monthon district. They were identified as a 29-year-old Wirach Nucharon and his girlfriend, 24, Sukanya Satang. The methamphetamine and crystal meth, with a total street value of 120 million baht, was seized along with a white Honda Jazz, 22 firearms and 18 rounds of ammunition. Extraordinary work by the Royal Thai Police. More news on the way. The Phuket News Hour. That story from the Bangkok Post.
Your daily news fix, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
Hey, don't forget the Kids Club Phuket, the proud sponsors of the Phuket News Hour. Now, even with the rain tumbling down today, the Kids Club is open. It's opposite Jung Salong. Don't forget the underground parking. It's on the second floor there in the promenade. But Katie and the team all got to work today, and I know there are mums and dads thinking, let's go to the Kids Club. Yep, open for business today. Don't forget, the Kids Club Phuket, lots of trained nannies there to look after your kids. Get down to the Kids Club Phuket today, opposite Jung Salong, open for business, even with the rain tumbling down. This is Tim from the Phuket News Hour.
Live 89.5, your island, your station, live.
Looking at news around the region, in Indonesia, a CityLink Airbus A320 aircraft skidded off a runway in Padang, Western Indonesia, injuring 3 people and forcing the airport to shut down, according to a Transportation Ministry official, according to channelnewsasia.com. The dailymail.co.uk says British convicted pedophile Robert Fruin, 38, has been deported to the UK to be jailed to complete a 2-year sentence for abusing 3 brothers aged 8, 10 and 11 while working as a teacher in Cambodia. News from Malaysia is asking other Indian Ocean islands near the French-owned La Réunion to be on the lookout for more possible debris after a wing part suspected of being from missing Malaysian flight MH370 came ashore. The Malaysian Airlines plane carrying 239 people vanished in March of 2014. The death toll from flash floods and landslides in Burma is set to spike, as we reported earlier, but the UN has warned that with more heavy rain forecast for the coming days, government figures believe that at least 27 people have died in the heavy rains hitting Myanmar. ASEAN and China are discussing setting up a hotline in case of an emergency regarding the territorial dispute over the South China Sea, according to a Philippines official spokesperson. Turning to a story from Al Jazeera, China's stock market crash certainly was big news, but lost in the headlines was the commodities rout. Everything from copper to oil, cotton to sugar has been hit, and unlike other stock markets, commodities have an impact on everyday lives, from the farmers to miners to consumers to governments. Lower prices means less money and fewer jobs. Now, interestingly, gold is often seen as a store of wealth in uncertain times, but right now gold has tumbled below $1,100 US an ounce, and that's a 5-year low. Now, with economic growth around the world slowing and expectations of a rise in US interests by the end of the year, the dollar is strengthening, making gold less attractive. And this has led to predict that some gold prices could fall below $750 an ounce, and that is a far cry from the $1,920 US dollars it hit during the financial crisis. That's just an analysis of it's not just the share markets that are in trouble around the ASEAN region, but certainly the value of commodities. Turning to foreign currency, the Bangkok Bank says that $1 US dollar will buy you 34.07 baht. The Australian dollar, 24.84 baht. The Great British Pound, 53.93, and the Euro, 37.99. The Singapore dollar, 25.16. The Malaysian ringgit, 8.61, and the Hong Kong dollar, 4.44. You're up to date with your foreign currency. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Today's important stories and the island's best music. This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw.
You're my world, you're every breath I take. You're my world, you're every move I make.
Sad news from the United Kingdom that singer and TV star Cilla Black, who enjoyed a 50-year show business career, has died. Aged 72, her agent has said. The 1960s singing star became a popular TV celebrity. Spanish police said a woman named Priscilla White, Black's real name, had died in Estepona on the Costa del Sol, where the star had a home. The death appeared to be of natural causes, but this has not been confirmed by tests at this point. And it is with deep sorrow that the confirmation of the passing of singer and TV personality Cilla Black. Here she is.
I feel a power so divine. You're my world, you are my night and day. You're my world, you're every prayer I pray. If our love ceases to be, then it's the end of my world for me.
Prime Minister David Cameron has paid tribute to Cilla Black, remembering her as a huge talent who made a significant contribution to public life. Dame Joan Collins has also said, "I'm sad and shocked by the news of my good friend Cilla Black." Such a shock to hear about Cilla Black's passing, says Sir Paul McCartney. She was a lovely girl who infected everyone with great spirit. Vale to Cilla Black. You are my world. Vale to the great entertainer Cilla Black, found dead in Spain, aged 72. This is the Phuket News Hour.
Your daily news fix, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. Only on Live 89.5.
And that wraps it up for the Phuket News Hour. This program produced and presented by Tim Shaw, using the resources of the BBC, Voice of America, Al Jazeera, CNN, the Phuket News Centre and the World Wide Web. Stay tuned for all the news that counts on the hour with the BBC and on the half hour from the Phuket News Centre right through your day. This has been Tim Shaw. Make sure you join me again here on the Phuket News Hour, where we bring you all the news that counts. Proudly brought to you by the Kids Club Phuket. Have a great remainder of the day. Until we meet again, bye for now.
This is the Phuket News Hour with Tim Shaw. Join the conversation on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Phuket Live Radio.